And still waiting for the stupid thing to go on YouTube side. There we go. Hello, everybody. It is Friday afternoon, and John is back with more Space Marines.
Yep, I am back, and it is...
Bit of cleanup for last week since that video isn't available anymore. I had to delete the Ratchet and Clank video because... You can keep going, John.
Okay.
I forgot that, since the game uses movie clips, that it would get flagged by Content ID. Ironically, it was not hit anywhere in America, but by NBC Universal internationally, despite, you know, NBC Universal not owning the movie. I had to remove the video because I am currently at 2 copyright strikes, so I was not going to risk it.
And you are Captain Titus of the Ultramarine.
So yeah, we will get back to Ratchet and Clank from the start sometime in the future when I don't have a bunch of copyright strikes on my YouTube account. It's just, I can't risk it right now. And I need to find something else for my stream weeks.
I mean, don't you have Fuga?
I do have Fuga. I might do Fuga. I was trying not to announce that during a stream.
Jeez, man.
It is a complex device and an unstable one. If the orcs find it, they'll try and take it apart. It could detonate with enough force to destroy the entire planet.
Then we must move it to safety.
And for that, Captain, I need your aid. This way.
You are wounded, Inquisitor Drogon.
I'm a psyker. My psychic abilities are controlling the bleeding.
Very well.
Useless psychic powers.
I'm here.
Pure Crystal saw the Patreon review. I love it. Thank you. That's the other kind of current flag. I can't post the current video that is on Patreon to my main account until the copyright strikes expire for pretty much the same reason. I can't check it against the copyright system without risking a strike. One strike, my account goes poof right now. TTK Dagwan. I decided to strike a game considering it's, well, a game. Yeah, they didn't strike, they gave me a copyright claim. Like I said, I didn't want to risk it by leaving it up. Because if I get one more strike, my account is gone because of Toei and ShowPro. It's like sometimes claims ascend to being strikes if they're left alone. And yeah, Media Hood is completely correct. The game used unaltered quotes from the film, hence the claim. Yes.
That's always bugged me when stuff like that does that. Like, again, Kingdom Hearts 3, when it did that with, like, they altered it to have Sora in there, but it's still...
For the most part, like, they just straight up recreated movie scenes.
And the Frozen scene especially because music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so... To me, it's just like peak laziness.
Like peak lazy to just like use clips from the movie for the game.
Yeah.
They're making a game based on a film based on my life? Yeah, the annoying thing is, again, none of the claims came from America, where the movie was made, or by Sony, who financed the movie. They were from NBC Universal, who does not own the movie.
So why did they?
Exactly.
That's the copyright system is like
broken.
It's broken as fuck.
And again, not from America where the claim needed to go. It was from all other international territories but America. Which just also shows another thing, we need geo-blocking to prevent that crap. Like, if something is going to get claimed in another country and they're, for no other reason than they're going to claim it, then they should not be allowed to see it.
There. We must get to that lift.
A plasma pistol. Okay, now how do I get up to that lift?
How long do you even have on those strikes? The first one expires in the middle of October, so a month on one of them, and to the beginning of November on the other. I got hit 2 weeks in a row, or not 2 weeks in a row, in between 2 weeks.
Sound problems? Or?
No, that was just me opening the bottle of paint remover.
Is it a voodoo man?
Weird boys. Yep, orcs have their own psychers. Unfortunately, well, for them, their brains, well, kind of pop out of the top of their heads.
Yeah, they're mushrooms. They do that.
Yeah.
So there's not much room in their brains for development?
Yep.
So to move on a calmer topic, you're finishing your Gal Ranger kits. I finished the original ones. These are all the mod ones, the repaints and recolors and retools that I'm doing. So I'm nowhere near done with that. I've only completed like 17 of my customs. And for those who are keeping track, that is a total of 43 power animals, including the base ones that come in the sets that I have done. I still have 57 to do.
57.
Yes.
Yikes.
And right now, I'm stripping the paint from the one that's going to become Gao Utan, aka Gao Orangutan, because my attempts to paint it light brown first and then coat it with red and orange didn't work because the red is too deep a color for the orange. So I'm gonna retry with just the base brown again, and then do orange, and then hopefully a light layer of red over that.
But he did, Drogon.
Or I could just leave it with the brown with the orange over it.
Space Marine recognized. Full access granted.
That's my pistol.
Dark Cloak 100. So how was the new Digimon game? Did you not see our stream where we got really angry at it for wasting our time? Like, we've played visual novels. Visual novels do not take 2 hours to get to the fucking point. It's a bad visual novel. It's a bad game.
My boys want to give you a proper greeting.
And I haven't bothered with it because I am busy with other shit. It was supposed to be a stream exclusive thing, but we're not streaming it because it's so fucking boring. Like, unless I'm filming something for the show, which I'm not doing Digimon reviews anymore, so that's not being done, I basically only play stuff for stream right now.
Kill them all.
And it's like that because I don't have the time for other stuff.
How much deeper does this facility go? Manufactorum? Far deeper. The whole generator room is actually suspended above a venting shaft.
Suspended.
Yes. In case of catastrophic overload, the whole room can be shunted away into the depths.
I feel that might be a design flaw. After all, if the depths are inhabited, then...
Colder than a spaceman's smile in here. Yes, a byproduct of the device's function.
it releases cold air as a byproduct. Did they create cold fusion?
Is it cold fusion?
I mean, cold fusion doesn't actually create cold like that. It's just like, it's one of those euphemisms that has mimetic mutation in stories.
Yeah, but really, no, they did not. Nope, down Odette, down. She always finds a way.
He is a cat after all.
She is indeed.
Captain Titus, proceed into the main chamber. We need only obtain the power source at the core of the generator. I will initiate decoupling from a control console.
Understood.
You gotta love in video games when you just come across like giant ammo caches that are just sitting there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As for the power source, well, it's basically a bad power source.
Guard the
It's
access
the warp.
Oh, not the warp.
Mech 82, the first high-grade kits that came out for which were Mercury are impressive. Good to know. Also, that prologue is really good.
I swear, can we not bring this up?
All I'll say is, there is now a competitor for Kosuke Kogami for most dark use of the Happy Birthday song. Phantom 666, new to the stream, found your channel due to the Super Robot video. Loved how you gave the Yamato battleship the honor it deserved. Thank you, and you're welcome.
Captain, the war boss.
Space Marine! What are you hiding down here?
Crap. Ooh.
Will you be making a video about Super Robot Wars 30, again from Phantom 666? I will not be, but I will be discussing it when I talk about Super Robot Wars X, because they basically have the same problem, but in opposite extremes. Basically, the problem with both is they don't use enough of the content they include.
Okay, in fairness to you, like I've had that happen in God of War, where you're fighting a tough opponent, but then like another guy just comes out and with a baseball bat.
Ow! You dick! Yep, it's been... Yep.
DJ Toku is asking you, John, what's the warp again?
The warp is basically the alternate... is basically the dimension that the Imperium travels through. It is also incredibly dangerous because it is shaped by the dreams of all living creatures, including nightmares. It includes demons, monsters, and gods that are... and the four gods of chaos: Slanesh, Tzeentch, Khorne, and Nurgle.
Wait, no, one of them is literally named Khorne.
Yep, Khorne.
Okay.
He is the god of war and the oldest of all the chaos gods.
Basically, it's the collective unconsciousness.
Yep. And it infects, it corrupts, and humanity hate is the immortal enemy of all things, but it is also the one thing that that humanity can't live without, because they don't have any alternatives of space travel.
You would have thought there would have been something researched.
That's the problem. Humanity can't research anything anymore. The ability to create is basically forbidden thanks to the Adeptus Mechanicus, and they own all, and they basically are technically a separate government, but also aligned with the Imperium. And they hoard knowledge, like...
So it's essentially because of, like, these other jerkwads, like...
Basically capitalism.
Capitalism, basically. Capitalism and corruption, and also knowledge was lost 10,000... A lot of knowledge was lost 10,000 years ago.
Rainbow?
Yep. Basically, at one point during the event called the Horus Heresy, a virus called Scrap Code was unleashed in the old government of the Adeptus Mechanicus and Mechanicum, and a lot of recovered knowledge from the Dark Age of technology, called that because, well, no one knows what happened during it, was lost.
Yeah. Pure Crystal, no, I should start with John 556's comment. What do you think about the new Pokemon trailer? I'm still going to buy both, but I don't know which one will be my main game. Yeah, that's still the quandary I'm in, because I don't know which one I want to do with the main game, but I did not watch the trailer itself, but I saw everything that was announced from it, such as the Mega Man Battle Network-inspired Pokemon, which I want in my party. So follow with that with Pure Crystal. Since ShowPro struck your Rockman XA anime reviews, does this mean you're going to be scrapping the Access Beast Plus reviews? Access through Beast Plus reviews. I don't want to. but I am pushing forward the Battle Network 5 review so I can just get that out there to announce, hey, these got struck, so if I don't get them back up, or ShowPro keeps taking them down, this is just me saying that's what happened in the event that all happens. So for what's going to happen with the original ones is I'm going to compile them into a bunch of ARC videos with all the anime footage cut into still frames to see if that will resolve whatever that prompted the strike. If that doesn't happen and they go down again, then I'm scrapping the access videos onwards. So it's like it's a test ground for that. If it goes fine, it goes fine. I'll use just still frames for the rest of the videos that I would do. If ShowPro decides, if ShowPro decides to take them down again, I'm scrapping the project. I did say that from the start that if that would be what happens if that starts happening.
ShowPro are dicks.
Unsure asked, but do you have a next plan after the Gao animal mods? For custom models, I think this will be it for a while. I wanted to do a custom, Vilcus Eclipse, but with a actual Vilcus model kit being released by Good Smile. I don't really need to prioritize that. I was going to do a custom Asteroid. I still have all the stuff I have for that. I just need to figure out Dragon Tails for what I want to do with that for a complete, for what I was going to call the Red Dragon Kaiser for Astrays, but yeah, me getting the power animals done, that's still a project in and of itself.
Oh, maybe you should go after the big guy.
I can't right now.
Force the power source into its canister. Quickly!
Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. Anna Prisnesi. I can't pronounce the last name. Anna's asking that, but am I going to be reviewing it after releasing? I hope by the time it releases, I will I'm already filmed through Battle Network 5, but by the time that releases, I will probably be working on stuff for Battle Network 6. So depending on what things they add to it, what gameplay quality improvements they might do for it, like say give us all the battleships up front, I might use it for recording 6.
The irony of like having all this highly advanced technology, but you can't really develop it any further without risking going into madness.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the Adeptus Mechanicus religion. They firmly believe that technology is handed down by the machine god, and that all technology is perfect, and to develop any new ones or change it or alter it is techno heresy of the highest order.
Even though, like, the irony is, like, that's not how technology works.
Pretty much, yeah. And
I can even pick up on the fact that that's, like...
Who the fuck makes technology a religion?
Apple users?
This is my big question with Warhammer. How the hell did you get there?
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of it is because at one point humanity had an incredibly advanced empire that stretched all over the stars, but then warp storms basically separated humanity from it.
So essentially, like, instead of being together, these warp storms caused people to drift apart, and then when that happened, suddenly a whole bunch of different ideas started springing up.
Mm-hmm. And the Adeptus and the Mechanicum was one of those, and they became a superpower in and of themselves. And when the Emperor of Mankind decided to begin his Great Crusade, it had become so powerful it was necessary to tolerate their religion, and they actually think the Emperor of Mankind is the Omnissiah, the living avatar of their machine god. Well, some of them do, but others do not, and that's what led to the schism that eventually led to the loss of innocence, aka when practically all technology that they had from the Dark Age that they had found was either lost or corrupted.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. There's also
Taranga Lila. So every religion is wrong.
Yep. And funny thing, the Emperor actually more or less created the religion. when he captured an eldritch abomination, or at least a shard of it.
In a ghost trap, basically a ghost trap.
Basically that fought it himself and trapped it underneath Mars. He is technically responsible for their religion and everything through his manipulations. But unfortunately, you can't really reveal that without, well...
Getting a lot of people really angry at you because they're religious zealots and just showing that religious fascism is generally bad.
Yep.
Because, like, at the end of the day, religion, when you use religion as the basis for your fascism, at some point, the house of cards will come tumbling down.
That's the problem. A lot of things in Warhammer 40K, truth is the ultimate enemy for them. The truth for one particular faction of a Space Marine chapter and their successor chapters, for example, the Dark Angels, if the truth of their past, which was that a ton of them actually, during the Horus Heresy, rebelled and split off from the chapter, if that came to light to them, and because they've done so much to cover it up, it would put a big target on them and raise a lot of questions about their loyalties.
Yeah, and that just goes back to the greatest enemy of fascism is truth. And ironically, it seems like a lot of stuff in this setting would be resolved if the truth was out, because isn't the lies what ends up perpetuating all this?
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's the greatest irony.
That the lie has become so much a dependency. Now, it could be argued that the Emperor of Mankind on his throne allows it somehow. Like, it's hinted that he's not ignorant of the fact that a religion has
no basis.
Yeah, this is kind of why I would not be able to get into the series, because I loathe that kind of behavior.
It really, and that's understandable.
But like, I can understand. I can also see, like, this is not a knock against it, but I can see like how the commentary at play can easily, or no, not easily, but like how a certain type of person would like look at everything and think it's like the coolest thing ever, not realizing that like this is it is truly commentary, albeit like maybe not the most expressly stated.
Yeah, like I have no issues with the commentary that the series is clearly built around to, you know, mock things like this, but by telling stories with all that, you risk the reality of excusing it. Like, you told me, and you were an example of yourself, that Warhammer fans are self-aware to how bad this is, but they're intrigued by the stories you can tell. I would not exactly counter-argument, but that's like, if you can't get better, where's the point?
Yeah, it's all about, that's the sad thing, it's all about survival interests. It's all just survival at this point.
Like, okay, to be fair, I like Starship Troopers. Starship Troopers is ridiculously military fascism, but the right context to a lot of that is, like, say, the original Paul S. Verhoeven, I believe, Verhoeven movie, where it's clearly satirizing that element of it, and the CGI cartoon from the late 90s, early 2000s remove that context from it to tell a far better story of the material than the original book supplied. So more modern adaptations either ramped up to how awful everything was because of this aspect of the setting, which was promoted in the original novel, and the most popular television production with the setting decided to say, we're not dealing with this.
Yeah.
Which is both ways around a condemnation of its worst aspects.
Yep.
So, Phantom 666 said, the Emperor is unable to do anything stuck on his throne. He is literally on life support, keeping the warp at bay, acting like a lighthouse, while slowly dying and watching his great work rot away.
Yeah, and then there's, of course, the 1,000 psychers that are gathered from all over the Imperium, civilian or otherwise, that are sacrificed to the Golden Throne to keep them alive every single day.
There's just going to be a point where they're out.
Yeah.
Or the supply lines could have some form of disruption, and everything's going to tumble like a house of cards.
Yeah,
It's just like the question is, when is that going to happen?
exactly. And that's the scary thing, because humanity has become so populous that we're in the quadrillions right now. But then again,
Not everybody can become a psyker. You know what I mean?
Not everybody can psyker, and the psychers might be so far out from Earth that, or wherever the Emperor is, that they can't get to him.
yeah, and then of course there's the fact that that psychers are more and more perpetuating, but they're also perpetuating too fast for them to be picked up.
Oh, break mode?
Yep. But yeah, like right now, there are new psychers popping up, but again, there are too many to be picked up because of finite resources to actually do that. So it's like, what do you do in the end?
No, there's a logic here. Like, it's not mind jam, but I understand the logic.
Yeah. Also, for those who want to learn a bit more about Warhammer 40K, I suggest looking up Lutin09, spelled Luetin 09. And
He's the basics guy for Warhammer.
He's the guy I currently watch and does a lot of lore videos. The one I would avoid is the guy known as Arch. He is basically kind of a pro-fascist.
He is that guy.
Yeah, he actually apparently he did a video that talked about how Warhammer 40K is how fascism can work and all that, ignoring the fact that
fascism can never actually work. That's the point.
And the Warhammer setting, it's showing that no matter how long it lasts, it's devouring the very people it was supposed to be supporting.
exactly. In fact, if it ever it's also the fact that peace is not an option because it's a complete military economy. Everything is to support that economy, and once it goes away, the whole thing collapses like a house of cards. Because, well, Terra is not self-sustaining because it cannot produce any food due to, well, the War of the Horus Heresy, which completely devastated its surface. It's more or less a dead planet with a city on top of it.
But yeah, the point is, at the end of the day, everything in the Warhammer 40K universe is basically designed to say, hey, this is actually a really bad thing, and we're just trying to watch these characters in the setting, survive all of this. So if you would ever think this is a good idea and a great place to live, you're insane.
Yep.
Like, I do not condone suicide, obviously, but it feels like those kinds of people should hope that Truck Coon hits them and then learn firsthand, oh, this is really, really bad.
Yep. There's actually, funny thing, a fan fiction that I haven't read, but I've heard about where where a space marine actually goes into the My Little Pony setting.
Oh, I remember that one.
That's funny.
And it's apparently learns the value of friendship. I am not sure, I have not read it, but that just is funny to me.
There were also ones that did that isekai scenario with Armada Starscream and G1 Soundwave, believe it or not. I think it was G1 Soundwave, might have been animated Soundwave.
Might have been.
Can you level up at all, or is it...
It is basically... Not sure about that, honestly. It's mostly just new weapons, I guess, they're the level up sort of thing. There's also... Funny thing, speaking of My Little Pony fanfiction and crossovers, I actually, in college, worked on a Deus Ex set My Little Pony fanfiction, not set in the universe or with any other... Not set in the Deus Ex universe or with any other characters, but basically, the idea is kind of like My Little Pony with the Fallout universe.
Even here, the dead priest on
I stopped doing it after a while, but I had a whole thing I
think I might have seen that one. I don't remember if I read it, but I think I remember seeing it.
Yeah, I called it Deus Equestria.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah, you see what I mean.
Yeah.
The Melta Gun.
Yeah, I think the problem with these orbs is that you keep trying to charge them with your axe instead of like waiting till a few of them are around for them to be finished off.
Like, cut down their numbers before you go melee.
Yeah. Listen, I know we all want to go crazy warrior and slash everything with a giant cool weapon. I get that.
Yep.
It's very tempting.
Phantom 666. When did Armada Starscream get in isekai'd? I think that was 2013. It was a while ago. You know, back during the big MLP craze.
Yeah. There's actually also, and I've read a bit of this, and I want to go back to it, but there is actually a Mass Effect Warhammer crossover where a squad of Space Marines actually ends up in the setting of Mass Effect 2, and they essentially take the place of Shepard.
Yeah.
They have the main crew, of course, but of course, Shepard is dead in this, fully dead in this setting. How dead is he? Are they cadaverific? I just like saying cadaverific because
That should be in the dictionary.
cadaverific. What would it be? A noun, a verb, or adjective?
I think it'd be an adjective because it sounds like it's like you're describing how dead they are.
Yeah, to describe the highest level of dead that one can achieve.
Media Hood reviews. The way that Warhammer 40K is described, it sounds like a universe where Thanos' wipe out half of all life ideal is considered a good thing.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would include Tyranids, Tau, Orcs, a lot. The Orcs themselves could use with a good population culling. Good lord, could they use a population culling. The Melt-A-Gun. I love this thing. Like, it's basically firing compressed hot air.
You realize I have one of those right next to me.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't want the Stalker Bolt. I want the Melt-A-Gun. Give me the Melt-A-Gun. I don't want a sniper, even though I like sniping. Like, I love the sniper.
You just know that somewhere out there's a brand of Melt-A-Guns made by Acme that just melt into sludge.
Or melt the person behind them while keeping the gun in pristine condition. Acme. Oh yeah, my squad's missing, so obviously, like I'm alone in this. Ooh, I wonder what's in here.
Adeptus Astartes recognized.
Oh yeah, the Purity Seal. Superior Fury!
What's Superior Fury?
It is Ultimate Fury. Fury mode now drains significantly more slowly. Awesome.
I still equate Fury to tanks, thanks to World of Warcraft, because that's the energy resource warriors used.
Honestly, I think the best way to use the Fury mode is if you're like low on health and you need to like go first, crazy on some tools.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because for those who don't know, in the Warhammer universe, there's obviously like a huge array of super weapons, like weapons that like bend your brain with like how busted they are.
Such as the Mind Diddler.
But one of the best super weapons humanity has access to is the will of humanity itself. Like, it is an actual thing anybody can tap into. That it can turn like an ordinary soldier guy and make them into like a god slaying boss. You know what I mean?
Basically, that's basically what saints are. They are those that tap into the power of the Emperor himself and the grace of humanity.
Yeah, so it's like literally that shonen protagonist moment where you believe in yourself and like everybody so much that you perform feats that you theoretically should not be able to do. You know what?
Yep.
And it's not, there's no like drawback to it other than like if you're accessing this power, you're probably in a situation that would make you very boned anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, like the ultimate, yep, we're screwed, time to... Of course, the only drawback is you gotta be aware of the capability.
The Terror of Death. In my opinion, the Tau aren't that bad.
The Tau aren't that bad. They are... See, here's the thing about the Tau. They have they believe in something called the greater good. Not so much a religion, but like manifest destiny. The problem is that they use that to justify just about everything they do. They also, they have brought in a bunch of human settlements and planets into their empire. The problem is, even though the humans are treated technically better, they're still, well, secondary citizens to the Tau. And if they sacrifice them, well, it's for the greater good.
The greater good.
Shinta!
Media Hood Reviews, quick question. Why do you pronounce Thanos as Thanos? Not judging, just curious. That's the way I first heard it, and I end up going back and forth on the way to say it.
The problem is that everybody says the same word differently. So
Slightly differently.
So you're not quite sure what the exact pronunciation is, but whether you're saying Thanos or Thanos, like...
At least we're not saying Thanos.
Yeah, it's kind of like pre-voice acting Final Fantasy, and
like when you look at a word and like you see Sephiroth and you sound it out versus when you actually hear it for the first time, right?
To be fair, Sephiroth has the exception where they have a song built around him.
Right.
But a better example would probably be Aerith versus Aerith.
Yeah, like which one is it?
or
Right?
Bahamut versus Bahamut.
Bahamut.
I always said it Bahamut.
No, Bahamut is the Canadian destroyer of worlds.
What's a Bahamut about?
7.5 pounds.
Ah, yes, I'm Bahamut. I come from Canada, eh? I'm just here to destroy your planet. Don't worry, I'll be very kind about it.
Also, the Tau are completely ignorant of the warp because they have a very low psychic population.
So they can't perceive it.
They can't. The only ones that do are the ethereals, and they're like the ruling class.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And the increasing number of psychics is bad because that lets all the eldritch stuff out of the warp, right?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
warp.
Do you mind if I explain that? Like you told me about the warp enough, but essentially imagine the warp as like that one part of town that like everybody has to drive through at some point, but you don't want to look out the windows, otherwise you get like weird people looking at you and stuff, and like those weird people are trying to like wash your car window, and like and you're trying to say go away please,
Change.
yeah,
Got change.
yeah. But with the warp, it's like you have to travel through it because it's their version of an interstellar highway. But if you were to ever actually stop and gaze upon what you're traveling through, the sheer madness of it all, like, will corrupt you to the point that, like, you'll go full dark side, you know?
Yeah. And the Tau have their own space. Don't use the warp because they have their own space travel. Good for them. But that does leave them ignorant to the dangers if they would ever come across it.
So on one hand, the faction that's probably the most immune to whatever the warp's gonna do, but on the other hand, because they don't know about the dangers, but isn't that also a good thing? Because if everything from the warp ends up exterminating all of humanity that's aware of it, that means the Tau would be left behind?
Yeah, but then again, like I said...
No, this is under the presumption that whatever would come from the warp would go away after all the people aware of it would die off.
That would hopefully... That is sadly the best scenario. But then again, there are like stuff like the Tyranids, which are ever growing, kind of like the Zerg. But then again... And then, of course, there's the Orcs. It's a whole thing. Basically, the warp is everywhere at this point.
And the real kicker is that, like, anybody can be infected by the warp and driven by its madness. It's pretty Lovecraftian in that respect because John showed me like a lore video where like it was about an inquisitor who was just doing his job, you know, trying to figure out what happened to it. Was it a planet or something? Or
Gregor Eisenhorn.
yeah, Gregor Eisenhorn. But basically, this dude was just, you know, your average inquisitor guy trying to do his job. but then he himself got exposed to the warp and slowly but surely became like the very thing he was set out to destroy.
Yeah, basically, he became the kind of Inquisitor that decided it's a weapon, we'll use it.
Yeah.
Even though, like, that's the exact thing the warp would do to you.
Yeah, it uses you.
You think you're using it? No, no, no. That's not what happens.
Yeah, there are Inquisitors that like called Horusians that believe, let's make a dark messiah that can control the warp.
And once again, it's like, hey, making a Lovecraft god would not be a good thing for anybody.
Yep, it's the ultimate, you're stupid. Stop being stupid. We can't. We won't. We don't. We're not stupid. We fight with the will of the Emperor and his voice. You've never talked to or met the Emperor.
Yeah.
Shut up!
But yeah, we have a get out of jail free card from like a Denny's that says we can do whatever we want.
Yeah. That's the Inquisitors. They're both the ultimate, the line against the darkness, while also kind of making a lot of things worse in so many other ways.
Yeah. So, to get on a bit of a different topic, for those who don't follow me on Twitter or have accidentally been blocked on Twitter for various reasons, I have a poll running right now of who people feel are the most influential creator from Mecha, and I have the options between Go Nagai, Yoshiyuki Tomino, and Shoji Kawamori. And I'm surprised that Shoji Kawamori is in last place on that, considering he's not just Macross. For those who don't know, your Lord and Savior of Mecha is probably something you didn't know he actually created. Or at least it was based on something he created. He was the one who originally designed the Diaclone figure Battle Convoy. So he is literally the grandfather of Optimus Prime.
Couldn't you also theoretically then make a Transformer Macross crossover?
Oh, that would be awesome!
Technically, you did, because he's the one that allowed the original Transformers line to use the Veritech Fighter as Jetfire. It's just, the Harmony Gold nonsense that happened.
Yeah, but you get how...
Yeah. But it's also why Jetfire is, in more recent years, is commonly used as the general robot that combines with Optimus Prime to give him his flight super mode, because that brings everything back to Kawamori.
And that is just, honestly, cool and heartwarming.
Yeah, because the entire point of the poll was sphere of influence. Like, Go Nagai is leading the poll by a very wide margin, because he created a lot of the ancestral stuff that a bunch of super robots use, but Tomino, for the most part, is a director that messed with the actual creative pursuits of the writers on Gundam. Like, that doesn't say Tomino didn't contribute ideas, but a lot of his ideas were in that vein of other creators looked back on this and thought this was a bad idea. Whereas Kawamori, like, even beyond his writing work on Macross or the stuff he contributed to Aquarion, you still see Optimus Prime in stores every goddamn year.
Heck, didn't Kawamori also design the Solace? Stardust Memory?
Yeah, he did.
Which explains, like, why those designs go so hard.
Yeah, so, and it wasn't just Optimus Prime. He was uncredited, but uncredited at the time, but part of a lot of the Diaclone, the original Diaclone line that became the basis for Transformers. So if you're a Transformers fan, you guys owe lots of Kawamori.
And the best part about Kawamori is that, like, he doesn't actually go after, like, he's not a glory hound or anything. He just wants to create cool robots and designs.
He does, which is just all the more irritating that Macross, his true writing creative vision has been prevented that long from seeing distribution.
Which is why I am so glad I'm going to be able to own
physical copies of, like...
Oh yeah, we are pre-ordering those the second Nozomi and Wright stuff list those.
I even pre-ordered the Udon art book that has, like, I forget what it's exactly called, but has all of like the Macross designs from like the beginning up until I think Frontier or Delta.
Yeah.
Because I never was into, I kept hearing like stuff about Robotech and how cool it was, but then I learned about Macross
And you learn about how much of what made Robotech cool was just them repurposing what made Macross good. And it's just all the more irritating that if you start out seeing the original Robotech, hands up for me that way, and then you learn about Macross, and it's like, you can never look at Robotech the same way again when you know that it's basically stolen material.
Yeah, and the fact that people still try to promote Robotech is like, bros. I'll never not laugh at the fact that like during Comic-Con or like
yeah, that their big promotional thing at the same one that at the same time that Big West was announcing all the Macross releases, they brought in a car.
Yeah, all they did was just a car with Robotech stuff painted on it.
Which was Kickstarter based for a new series. They spent their entire Kickstarter fund on the goddamn car.
Oh, and during their, it was Anime Expo, and during their whole panel for Robotech, they were like, we got a new director for the Robotech movie. He's the person that did Hawkeye, the Marvel series. Here's the Hawkeye trailer to show you his work. They literally played the trailer for the Hawkeye Marvel series, but never actually showcased anything of their own. Meanwhile, Big West, the Shoji Kawamori's company that like owns Macross and everything, came out swinging and we're like, we got art books, we got animes, like coming to the stateside. Here's some freaking cool DX figures coming out. You know what I mean? Like,
so that just pisses me off. Like, a car.
A car, like literally, and it's not even like a cool car. It was just a car painted in like Roy Focker's colors, or like the leader of Skull One or whatever. It's like it
that should be illegal. You misappropriated funds.
Yeah, it should be, but that's basically Harmony Gold's entire modus operandi. But yeah, that's why I think that it's if Gonagai being at the front row of the poll, I have no issues with that. But Kawamori just keeps being shafted by people not really realizing all the things he was truly influential for or contributed to. That is a lot more than Tomino. Like Tomino, okay, a lot of 70s stuff that has fallen to the wayside or been done better by others had him as a involved individual, but a lot of those, again, it's the other writing staff that should be more credited, because they tended to be behind the actual stuff that people really liked, and it was less Tomino himself since he was the director. Yes, he had final say decisions on a bunch of things, but when you're being a good writer, you're being allowed to write the stuff that people will like. And Sunrise has that problem a lot, where they credit the directors when the directors were not the chief creative responsible, or that directors actually screwed over what people liked about it. Code Geass being an example of that, because I keep reading interviews for my Code Geass big piece, and a lot of the problems in Code Geass ended up coming from Taniguchi and not Okuchi's original scripts.
On that influential, like, Terror of Death also said Ken Ishikawa.
Yeah, and I kind of keep lumping Ken Ishikawa in with Go Nagai, since they were friends and collaboratives.
Yeah, because from my understanding, the chain of events was Go Nagai comes into existence from the primordial ether, here to deliver greatness upon humanity. And Ken Ishikawa was one of his understudies, who eventually gained enough skill that he went off on his own.
Yeah. So that's where my head is always in the Ken Ishikawa map of that.
Yeah, that's not to say that he's not
it's trying to say that he is always going to be in Go Nagai's shadow. It's just like I lumped them together.
Go Ishikawa.
That, and I will never also not love like the story of like how Get a Robo actually was conceived. And it was all because of a traffic accident. Like, no, literally, John, what happened was Kenny Ishikawa was like going back to, I think it was either going to his office or going home one day, but then he noticed a traffic accident where 3 cars like smashed together, like, you know, like one right after the other, and then he looked at that and was like, that could be something, right?
Joey DeCal, there have been a few toy lines like Siege and Generation Selects that try to use the original Valkyrie toy. Not so much Siege, because that had a animation accurate Jetfire, but the reason why Takara and Hasbro are being a bit more loose about that now is because a few years ago, I talked about this in the Super Robot Wars reviews, Harmony Gold overstretched and tried to sue Hasbro for over Jetfire again, and the judge threw out the case with prejudice, meaning Harmony Gold can no longer claim that they own the Valkyrie toy, because they never did. Or anything designed or derived from it. Again, because they never did. But those lawsuits were why they stopped using Jetfire, aka Skyfire, in the original G1 cartoon out of nowhere, and why every redo of Jetfire had to use a differing design for him that was not based on the original Valkyrie. They've been a bit more loose about that in more recent times because, again, that lawsuit got permanently thrown out.
Cover! Stupid orcs.
NKD2 is both Battletech fan and Macross fan. I have a lot of reason to hate Harmony Gold. Yes, you do.
Oh yeah, like, Harmony Gold does nobody any favors.
Yeah. Like, oh.
Like, find out, like, once you learn about how they collectively pissed off, like, everybody they could, it'll make you wonder why do they still have fans.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, like, they must be so blinded by...
Not just nostalgia, just ignorance of what they actually did.
And it's like, if you try to explain to people, like, what they did, they'll probably be like, la la la, I can't hear you.
Alright. Now, let's get to killing these bastards.
You need to set that machine to mulch.
Yeah, Terror Death had it right. What happened was Ken Ishikawa and Gonagai were taking a test drive, and they were the ones that caused the accident.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Whoops.
But then when they saw the accident and the pileup, they were like, wait, what if we took 3 robots and then smashed them together? I mean, if you look at how Get a Robo actually transforms, it does look like 3 vehicles just smashed together to create something.
And that was one of the horror moments in Armageddon.
Yeah. But it's kind of funny, like, how real life can influence, like, send shockwaves throughout, like, fiction, right? Because can you imagine the mecha genre without combining robots?
Nope.
That's not to say that combining robots wouldn't have come about at some point, but the way in which it was...
Probably taken longer.
Yeah, it would have taken longer, and probably the way it was, like, introduced.
Yeah, I'm gonna die.
And it'd probably be a module connection system like you saw with Gundam, instead of 3 different pilots.
But anyways, so what are you doing in this right now?
What time is it, by the way? I'm basically trying to find...
Yeah, you've been streaming for 54 minutes, you're fine.
Okay, good. I'm trying to find Inquisitor Drogon right now. We lost track of him.
DJ Toku, I still wonder how we went from Get a Robo to Aquarion. That's a good question, but I want to say it might have been due to either Get a Robo Armageddon or the 2000s OVA, because Aquarion, I believe, was early 2000, early or mid-2000s.
I think it was like 2005 or 2006.
Yeah, so after the second OVA series.
Yeah. Something like that, but I wanted to say that maybe Aquarion was Get a Robo by way of
Kalamori stuff.
Because, like, let's be real, even though, like, Aquarion is 3 separate machines, like, combining together to form, like, robot combinations, they at least are different enough from each other that, like,
yeah. They do different things. They
Yeah.
stylize in different ways.
Like, stay down, stay down, stay down.
It's like you're not going to see a infinite +1 punch out of a Ghetto Robo.
Exactly.
Oh, come on!
Oh, that's just some bull. That is.
I hope they fix that in the second game. I hope they fix that.
That's just not. That you should have had invisibility frames. Come on.
Invincibility frames
Are not for games like this.
Well, I want them to be.
You should have had invincibility iframes. You should have been able to parry.
Media Hood Reviews. The Ghetto Robo origin kind of reminds me of how Thunderbirds came to be. Yeah, kind of.
How did Thunderbirds come to be?
Rescue services.
Oh, okay.
One thing I will like that I just love about like how Mecha came to be is that like it was a chain of like people influencing one another that like you can actually trace the evolution of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, oh hey, and giant rope. We need an enemy for a story. Oh, how about we give them a? How about we make them be a scientist type that creates a doomsday weapon? Oh, what's the doomsday weapon? Oh, technology is a new. Technology, machinery is a new thing. So why don't we make a giant machine? Oh, okay. Oh, new. We need to make a new enemy machine. Why don't we make it like humanoid? Because then something where you can control like their body. That's genius. And then you start having the ones where the enemy robot is actually the hero, or controlled by the heroes.
Yeah. Like honestly, if anything,
For Neutro does not know the difference between right and wrong.
yeah, like the only thing I am aware, like I would say Gundam also like would contribute to this whole discussion is they were the series that brought up forth the idea that what if the enemies we were fighting wasn't like a mad scientist and his kaiju henchman, but like what if they were also humans?
Just an opposing army.
Yeah. I know that's like sounds like such a like it doesn't sound like great. Like if you're a fan of war stories, like that's not like a shocking revelation, but
yeah, and you have stuff like Ghetto Robo where you already had an opposing army in robots, where like they were still like take over the world types, but they were opposing side, not for nefarious evil reasons.
Ha! Come get it, boys!
Snipe. Yeah, that's the power of a sniper rifle in these things, right?
Yep.
Speaking of tough enemies, I'll never forget that time I was doing a Halo Legendary run with all skulls on.
Oh god.
Or was it not all skulls on, but like I think I had at least Mythic on or something. Like I was going for an achievement. Right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the time where I beat a hunter by running around in circles and kept punching into the back because I ran out of ammo. And I kept dodging his attacks. I was like, go down, go down, go down, go down.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
I love it.
Yeah, and I think I did a lasso with like all skulls on. Yeah, but I did it, and honestly, like
I had to be escorted through that. It was embarrassing. I legitimately just kept dying.
all right, church.
I am legitimately the church of a Halo team.
But honestly, like, do it really carries you throughout like any run in a Halo Reach playthrough? Plasma pistol and a DMR, or anything that can get easy headshots.
Plasma pistol and a handgun.
Yeah.
I hated the DMR.
What's the DMR?
DMR is basically a bargain bin battle rifle.
Yeah.
Was that the original one
No, the original one's the battle rifle. The DMR was the Halo Reach one where it's one shot. It just fires one shot at a time. It doesn't do it in bursts.
Lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of people really like the DMR. Like, I never quite understood why,
Because if you were just off by 1%, you would miss your shot, and you'd have to fire again, and in that time you would fire again, you'd die. Whereas if you were off slightly with the battle rifle, the other shots that would be the companions to the first one would usually get the headshot. So it's like, I am okay, not super, but I am decent with the battle rifle. I can't hit jack all with the DMR.
Die already!
Die! Damn orc endurance.
I'm not dead. I may be losing limbs, but I'm not dead, you human scum.
Pure Crystal, when do you expect the real great Gao Geiger and Goldion Hammer to arrive? November, because that is my birthday gift from Alexis. And I will not be receiving from them.
Like, I couldn't, you know, secure Goldion Hammer, but the minute I can get one, like, that's yours.
Yeah, I figured that's, like, gonna end up being a Mandarake thing if we don't find it in stores when we do a raid in the next couple months.
But I am looking forward to that from what I've seen in the videos and people who got it early.
Finally, made it. I have not gotten this far, by the way. This is the first time for me.
Media Hood Reviews is encouraging you. Kill him, John. Kill him to death.
Inquisitor Drogon.
Ah, Jeffrey Combs.
He does have the Jeffrey Combs look.
The Jeffrey Comb over.
Shielded power source. I saw it. You have more energy from the world. How are you still alive?
The power source conducts warp energy. The stuff of chaos. Heresy.
My work against
The Horus Heresy.
Can your blessed work help us against the orcs?
My research is of the utmost secrecy. The Imperium forbids its use without sanction.
Well, luckily you're an Inquisitor, so you can basically do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
That is the
Consider that your Imperial sanction.
That is their blessing. It is also their curse.
Yep. It is a curse that we use very well. Exterminatus!
John, like the Destroy Planet bit from Kids in the Hall about Warhammer. What? You're saying that you're all infected by the warp? Destroy planet. I said, repeat, destroy planet.
Yeah.
If it malfunctions, it will crack this planet in half.
We're out of options.
Oh, sure. Crack the planet! Crack the planet!
The psychic scourge is at the Calcus facility.
Yeah, you know what? Superboy Prime coming into this reality would probably be one of the best things that would ever happen to it.
It would. I mean, it might give them all a common enemy.
Well, honestly though, like if he ever did that in this universe, like what would only happen is that everything would remain the same, but now everybody has a funny hat on.
I would. Oh my god, the orcs would love fighting Superboy Prime, mostly because it's like they see a crazy whiny kid just blasting things aside. They're like, "That's a good fight."
And the Superboy Prime side, it's like, this place is legitimately, genuinely evil.
Yep. But then again, he's sided with supervillains gladly.
Terror of Death, we have not watched Aquarion yet.
Yeah, it's on our list. I have all 3 existing seasons. I've been well, I've watched it years ago. I barely remember anything about it. I just remember, for the most part, enjoying it.
Every time I hear Aquarion, I think of that bit from DuckTales, the reboot. Aquarion. There was only Aquarion. I don't know why, but it just pops into my head. I don't know why. Probably because I just know more about it just that than... And that was a joke from DuckTales. How is a joke from DuckTales, like, piggyback onto a mecha show?
Probably because some of the people who worked on the show might have seen it?
Maybe.
Like that's the thing I really love about like when a modern show cartoons able to get away with these anime references, because like they grew up on this stuff and now they have the chance to insert these references and not just references but like take influence by. Yeah.
But the funny thing is, Aquarion in the show was just like a water show. It wasn't even.
Yeah.
It was just like, it wasn't even a robot thing.
Funny story.
There's water in Aquarion.
I'm not saying anything more. I'm not saying anything more.
Listen, if you haven't seen it, like, I'm not saying any more about Aquarion other than, like, from what I am aware of, it's an experience. Like, not a bad experience, but one of those, like, oh.
Alright. Yep. Quick human shields, protect me!
Quick shield humans, protect them.
Media Hood said it should be law that any utterance of DuckTales should be followed by woohoo.
Yeah. Okay.
Problem is, if you say that wrong, that causes pain to me.
Yeah.
Or what if we could say Ultramatic? DuckTales. Woo woo.
That might work.
Or say it like Ben Stein. Hi, this is DuckTales. Life is like a hurricane.
You're in Duckburg.
Duckburg. Whoa. Try Clear Eye for Red Eye.
Wow.
Wow.
No, that's Owen Wilson.
Like you put too much emotion into the wow. That's
like Owen Wilson's Warhammer. Wow.
No,
I'm among those people that don't feel like Owen Wilson is a bad actor. He just keeps getting put in projects that don't really assist his reputation.
Yeah. I want the plasma cannon.
I heard he was good in Loki, though.
Yeah. I would like to give that a shot. Just like there are some Marvel shows that I would like to give a shot. Like the fact that Hawkeye actually brings in fully confirms Vincent D'Onofrio's King Daredevil as canon. Well, the No Way Home did that too, but it's just
more nice to like get double confirmation. Right?
Yeah,
and to see Vincent D'Onofrio in action.
Yeah. The other thing is like we barely heard anything about Hawkeye when it aired.
Like that, and that's sort of the problem with like how much media content Marvel's produced, where like it comes and goes, but there's so much of it that you don't have time to like really process and digest it all.
Like last year, everybody was on board WandaVision. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we heard some buzz about, but that and Loki we heard a lot of things about, but after that it's just started dropping off. The only time we hear about any of these shows is when people are complaining about them.
Yeah.
Like, did you hear about the latest Love and Thunder controversy?
What?
When they put it on Disney Plus, they had to redo a bunch of CGI animation, but they didn't actually make it any better. Because, like, when it was first released, despite having a $250 million budget, and delays because of COVID, the special effects were rushed, so looked at great, and there's just general problems all over the place. So even if the main story might have been good, even if the acting by the cast might have been good, the ultimate product is less than ideal. Even the head director says the CGI looks terrible and threw the entire CGI VFX team under the bus.
Yeah.
I mean, at least according to Terror of Death, She-Hulk's been fun.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and also I want to say this about She-Hulk. To people complaining about the silliness and stuff, read the comics, read John Byrne's run. And for those complaining about the twerking, the comics had She-Hulk during the John Byrne's run did jump rope naked.
She-Hulk's already, like, the whole point of She-Hulk is that she's a bit sillier than main Hulk, who's Depression City. You know
from what I heard, from what I've seen some clips, it does lean a bit too much in the jokes, but you know what? At least it's
recognizably
it's still recognizably that.
I'm of the opinion that stuff like twerking is so bad cringe.
The cringe. I won't deny that.
But that's basically it for me. It's like I find that cringe, and I'll probably find a lot of the other jokes cringe. If people are finding the jokes cringe, that's legitimate criticism, because there are better ways to deal with handling jokes, handling characters, like the thing with her saying that she's dealt with anger all life because she's a woman. That's a lot different than suffering trauma as a child, which is still canon to the Marvel Universe with their interpretation of Bruce Banner and Hulk, and then having situations that that trigger that trauma, and having that being now connected by you transforming into a monster that is persecuted for years and years and years.
The problem is, though, they haven't talked about that in the MCU because it's Universal shit.
Yep.
That is why they haven't developed it further. That is why I don't think they've ever really gone into MCU Bruce's backstory.
They haven't.
They did.
No, they haven't. Hulk is if you're thinking of Hulk, it's non-canon. It is not.
And also, I will admit that I do kind of like the angle. I do like the angle of you may not have, She-Hulk may not have dealt with like any trauma in her life, but when you're a woman, like you have to deal with anger differently than everybody else, and that can be even more irritating because when a man gets angry, it's like, oh, he's just blowing off some steam, right? But
Which is true.
But if I ever got angry enough to want to wreck somebody's face off, wreck somebody, oh, suddenly I'm a crazy bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is true. I'm not saying that isn't true. I'm just saying, the writing for that scene. I watched that scene. It's going to annoy a bunch of people who know these things.
No, absolutely. It's like the twerking, in my opinion, that's like them trying to be hip with the kids kind of cringe.
And then not realizing that people don't want to see this.
Or rather, it comes off as a natural occurrence, and more like you can tell someone was going, the kids will love this.
And they don't.
No one does.
Or if people love it, it's one of those reactionary, oh, you hate it because it's a woman doing it, kind of.
No, we just generally find this unpleasant.
Yeah. I don't know about BIMP. I don't know what a BIMP is. Don't tell me what a BIMP is.
Yeah, so can we get off the She-Hulk thing?
Yes, we're off the She-Hulk thing. Don't bring it up in the chat, folks.
The She-Hulk ship doesn't even sail in the first place. It does not work in canon.
Yeah. Anyways,
you keep dying.
I keep dying. I am annoyed of that. Please stop dying.
Maybe,
stop killing me, game.
Yeah, not dying is clearly something that a sane person says.
So maybe keep your distance with the sniper rifle or
with the last cannon. Yeah, I'll try.
Cause I noticed that your issue is that you keep rushing in before you're sure that you're not gonna get swarmed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll try sniping off the guys with the missiles.
This ain't quite like Halo where you can go into a room full of enemies and tank everything.
I can't actually do that. I always get hit from behind.
Yeah.
Or by an enemy that's not visible.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's clear that you're getting sniper fire and explosives from all other angles, so
now I just need to be careful of that stupid red guy. Stupid knob. Which is funny because that's both an insult and an orc rank. There gets knobs. You get your knob.
I actually watched a video from guys from Google that was talking about how a lot of orc culture was inspired by England and stuff.
Pretty much football hooliganism.
Yeah, football hooliganism and how each of the orc factions represent a different aspect of British culture.
Yeah. To reply to the chat, this is the last thing we'll say on the She-Hulk thing. Mach82, She-Hulk loves being tall green woman. Yeah, tall green buff woman, no one had any issues with going into the show. I think it's just the execution of the comedy elements for She-Hulk that are leaving people divided. She was always going to be comedy focused. It's just this is not the kind of comedy that everybody will be engaged with.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's just the divides there, and people are blowing it up into all toxic male stuff, and it's no, this is definitely a difference of taste thing.
TJ Choku, and I thought Gravity kills death a lot last week, but somehow that seems tame compared to this.
Gravity kept killing me because of peripheral vision issues. I couldn't, since I'm one of those people that has extreme, spatial awareness, so I sense things around me that compensate for limits in peripheral vision. I have no issues with peripheral vision with my specific pair of glasses. The shape of them allows me to have my full range of vision fully clear as if I didn't have to wear glasses. But when it comes to games, I don't have that same level of peripheral vision, so so if there's stuff that allows you to fall out of places, and I'm not aware of where that boundary is, I'm gonna trip over them. It's always been a problem with games with me. Like, you should see some of the 3D Sonic games where I just fall over the side because I didn't realize the side was there.
Oops. Yeah, that's always going to be a problem.
Media Hood is asking, please tell me there's an orc ring called Twit.
I would love that. I would love that. They're like the ultimate ring.
It's like the ultimate ring is the Twit. It's like, oi, don't call that guy a Twit. You gotta earn being a Twit.
Diamond Simoneau, with Disney making a new card game, I'm calling it Dale Gribble Best Deck. Yeah, I'm surprised that Disney hasn't gotten into the card game thing before with their various IPs that they could bring into that.
It's like, way to go, Disney. You're just now joining the party.
Very latent things. It's like, it took a while for Magic the Gathering to get a decent competitor in its style of card game, but when the Pokemon card game turned out to be popular, that's when you saw everything start to flow in. Also Yu-Gi-Oh, because, you know, Kazuki Takahashi played Magic the Gathering before Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's where that came
The
from.
Orc chieftain wanted the power source. When his orcs see I possess it, not you, they will follow me. Move out.
Which route to the rally point, guardsman?
Bastion Primus is that way, my lord. But it's all orc-held territory.
Time to go.
Time to go Red Dwarf Season 8 on these guys.
Which one was Red Dwarf Season 8 again?
Kill Crazy!
Oh, yes!
Let's go kill something!
Yeah! I love that guy.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to bring up.
Girl. Odette wants attention. Oh, I'm starved.
Alas, John, you only have 2 hands.
Oh, baby. I love you. Thunderhammer! Yes. I love you, baby. I love my baby. I love her so much.
Rip and tear, John. Rip and tear.
Now to knock over some orc nests.
I'd say rip tear their guts, but they don't have guts. They're mushrooms.
Ironically, they have like pineapple and pizza.
Well, now we know they don't have souls.
Evacuation Center Omega. You will receive rations.
We're joking about the pineapple and pizza thing. It's a recurring gag for those who don't know.
Yeah, if you like pineapple pizza,
Yeah, we
that's
have no beef if you like pineapple on pizza.
I do.
We're just
You soulless monsters.
we are for the most part just playing it up as a joke.
Ow,
Ow!
ow,
I do
ow,
not
ow.
want to. I don't like you like that.
Man, that one sounded like Smeagol.
Oh, I love this. See if there's any other floating skulls around for me to pick up.
Hey, Joey Nicao. Hey, John, have you read about Commissar Yarrick, an old man who ripped off an orc's power claw after losing his hand?
Oh yes, I do know Yarrick. For those who don't know, Commissar Yarrick is the only human that orcs respect and fear. He is the arch enemy of the biggest war boss of all time, Gazkul Mag Uruk Thraka, and he...
Uruk, as in...
You do realize what that name sounds like, right?
Yeah. I don't know what does it sound like. Tell me.
Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah. Mag Uruk Thraka. Yeah, oh my god!
Yeah, and
oh my god, please tell... If someone could confirm that Mag Uruk Thraka is based on Margaret Thatcher...
well, also, like, look at their... from my understanding, their policies were actually pretty similar to each other and stuff, so...
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if, like, the baddest orc around was inspired by Margaret Thatcher for better or for worse.
Yeah, but basically, Yarrick at one point was fighting a big orc, got his arm chopped off, and then killed that orc while having one arm, and then took that orc's warclaw arm as a trophy for himself.
Yeah, DJ Toku, orcs deserve to all be destroyed just for being mushrooms? Hey, you've never had to deal with the fungus among us.
Can't forget. And the ground pound. Well, best. By the way, I will say that I do find the web series Hammer and Bolter that Games Workshop has made to be flawed, mostly due to the animation being pretty choppy or non-existent at times. But the best episode to me, and possibly for others, is the one where they basically talk about Yarrick's backstory. And in that, when they show him chopping off the orc's arm, he holds it up high, and the orcs are freaked out and says, "Like for like, which part are you willing to give me?"
So basically, they respect him for being insane.
Oh yeah, and also because of orc belief makes things happen. They think he can't be killed, so Yarrick is probably immortal
Until all the orcs die off, at least.
Or
the legend about him among the orcs gets drowned out.
Yeah.
Because obviously, how can you believe in something if you've never heard of it?
Yeah.
Back 82, freaking Belial, Master of Deathwing, couldn't beat that orc. Yes, thank you for clarifying which Belial you mean.
Yeah.
Or Belial, depending on your means of pronunciation.
I think they pronounce it Belial.
I call him Belly the Wonder Dragon.
Yeah, because Belial is one of those that goes either way depending on context. Like Ultraman, they went Belial. For others, I think Hellboy, they went Belial.
Yeah.
I know some other medium went with Belial.
Yeah. But yeah, and Gazkul himself considers Yarrick to be his best enemy. In fact, at one point, after he was captured by orcs and held prisoner, and then staged an uprising against them, they put down that uprising, but then gave him all his stuff back and cheered for him.
Because
did we just become best friends?
Yeah, but
it's like, you're my enemy, but god dang, are you not like fun to fight?
Let's fight again. In fact, Gazkul said in High Gothic, which is horrifying to Yarrick because, well, it's the sacred tongue of man, basically Latin in the future, and to hear an alien speak it is blasphemy of the highest order. And what Gazkul said, "You best enemy," and then let him go because he
and the
wanted.
fact that like this Yarrick guy was just a human, like he wasn't like genetically altered. He was just a guy,
an old man too. He's old.
If anything, this whole story just tells you that in the Warhammer universe, anybody can be capable of being a legend. It's just a matter of like the circumstances they find themselves in.
Yep.
And let's be real, there's something kind of metal about like an old guy like fighting off against an orc dude and then stealing his robot hand.
Yep. And having it be your permanent replacement, and then finding out that they think you can kill with a look, so saying, "Give me a laser eye."
He actually did that?
He actually did that. He had an implanted laser eye.
I wonder if that's that orc belief thing going on to influence him in turn.
Could be, yeah.
That's actually not a bad idea of looking at it, that, because for those who don't know, the orcs' belief system is if they believe it to be true, it will be true by some weird cosmic coincidence. That's why there's an entire orc faction that apparently paints all their stuff red.
They all do that.
They all do that just to make things go faster. Because when you paint something red, it goes faster. It's just... Even though, like, logically that shouldn't work, but yet it does in orc.
It goes from the idea that... it's an idea that entered into consciousness because a lot of things that go faster, people decide to paint red. So it's kind of chicken and egg.
Yeah, it's like that.
Rage.
It's like that bit from Futurama where Hubert said, "Put these flame sticker decals on the ship, Leela. It'll make the ship go faster." And what's your scientific basis for that? I'm 12.
Oh my god!
DJ Toku, and in Stargate they just went with Baal. No, Baal is a different deity. Yeah, there are some fables confuse the two and say they're the same thing. No, they're different. They are different.
Oh, but Dustin, if I can go back to fanfics for a second, there's an Ed and Eddie Warhammer crossover that I go back to every now and again, and it has Rolfie That Story's Yarrick.
It smelled like an Ed, at least.
Oh my god, I have to read that!
Video reviews. The strongest of orcs defeated by the son of a shepherd. Yeah, that sounds about right.
That sounds right, and it's beautiful, and I love it. Thank you for telling me about that. I have to find
That is
it.
actually legitimately a great idea.
This is the Hammer of Discipline. Do you live in a cave?
Smashes the orcs. All is forgiven.
Oh, that one episode where they break reality. Life has many doors, Ed boy. The one where they break reality is actually my favorite episode of Ed and Eddie.
I think that's a lot of people's favorite episode, if only because, like, it's the one that, like, takes full advantage of both Ed's characters, and also it's just the absurdity of cartoons, you know what I mean?
Oh my
like,
god.
when we say absurdity, we mean, like, let's eat the moon, you know what I mean? Let's mess with portals, let's do things that you can't do in live action convincingly. You know?
Oh my god, I love it. I'm smiling so much my face is tingling. What does this mean?
Like, can the Ed boys be like Ultramarines?
This is amusing because Alexis just found a pre-order for the Ed and Eddie Complete Series DVD
and I think
today.
I actually want to go for that because, like,
I pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
It's missing a few episodes though.
Why is it missing a few episodes?
I have no clue.
If it's I wonder if it's a case of, like, those missing episodes, there's something else involving those episodes that makes them, like, something that they can't just put on physical media.
Which
sucks, but it's not the first time in cartoon history where a release of something, like, was missing a few episodes simply because of, like...
Case in point, the Scooby-Doo movies collection, where they are excluding the episodes of the Addams Family due to rights issues with MGM, or the Tick DVDs I got John a few years ago that are missing a few episodes because of contract rights stuff.
Yeah.
But at the very least, a great majority of the episodes are there. And the only thing I'm hoping for is that does it have, like, the big picture show?
Yeah, exactly. That should have it on there.
Like, I feel like if you're going to do a complete collection of something, it should include, like...
The conclusionary movie.
Can we also on this topic... Like, am I wrong in saying that a big picture show, like the very final movie episode, was actually legitimately good?
Mm-hmm.
I have not seen the whole thing except for the bit where we finally meet Eddie's brother.
I actually really like that because, like, throughout the entirety of Ed and Eddie, you were always wondering who the heck Eddie's brother was. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of person was he because of how Eddie would talk about him. And then when you meet him, you're like, oh, that explains a lot.
Yeah, it's probably why the rest of the cul-de-sac kind of persecuted Eddie, because his brother was a complete jackass to them.
Yeah, it's basically like now you finally understand, like, why is Eddie the way he is, right?
Like, he just doesn't realize this person he looks up to is completely terrible.
because like he has nobody else to like really, you know, go to for guidance.
I really hope I can keep the Thunder Hammer.
Because yeah, my God, you were wrecking house with that thing.
I love this thing.
It's a thunderous hammer. What's there not to like?
And the best part is, this is usually only wielded by Space Marines in Terminator armor, which is basically that turns them into actual walking tanks. Like, you think that Space Marine is like a highly mobile tank. Terminators are ultimate tanks.
DJ Toku, if I remember right, there's a famous fanfic out there where Shinji Ikari models himself off 40K prior to showing up in Tokyo 3, and Gendo is just confused.
Shinji in Warhammer 40K, I used to read that one, yes.
Oh my God.
Literally, that was going to be one of the names for one of these streams. I was going to reference it, but... So, thank you for the spoiler in this case.
Well, hey, you can't call it a spoiler, like...
No, I'm not saying that derogatorily. Just like, that was a plan, and I'm amused that someone actually knows of that story.
With it a miss.
Greg Landsman could go kind of crazy with what he could do with stories. Hell, I think he did a Evangelion Diver story that never went anywhere. That's how I first learned of him. I might be confusing him with a different author, though.
When you said Greg Landsman, I thought of the, damn it, stop jobbering me, you jobber.
Rage. Spirit of humanity! Yeah, like, I think that's how they want you to use the rage mechanic.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, Greg Landsman's is the Nobody Dies guy.
Yeah, like with the Missing Tick episodes, is that the animated one or the live action one?
Animated one. Yeah, I almost said live action one. Mistake.
And also DJ is saying that their favorite episode of Ed and Eddie is the one where Ed becomes a monster due to getting into his role. Remember that one? Like Ed puts on a monster costume, but then he starts going actually full monster.
Charles Belfin, that's actually the author of Shinji and Warhammer 40K. And that was the last update in 2019.
Damn.
Considering he started in 2007, it's like, that's a labor of love.
Rage again!
Damn it!
Dang it!
It's worth dying for.
If a job's worth doing, it's worth dying for. That is what I'm trying to think of a job that's not Amazon, because that's too easy. What company would also have that perspective?
EA?
Yeah.
To answer Patrick Hathcox's question, are you excited for Bleach coming back in October? Heck, yes, I'm excited for Bleach to come back in October. Because, like, everybody for the longest time was thinking that once the Bleach anime ended, that they would never get back to the Fascinating Blood War arc. Like when Bleach ended, that was it.
Yeah, because there are so many anime based from shonens that when the anime stops, nothing else comes of it.
Right, and everybody kind of wonders like what would this been look like animated. And not only is the 1,000-Year Blood War being animated, but it's also going to get additional content from Kubo himself. So it's going to be like the most canon thing that you could, the most like definitive experience you could have asked for, you know. And the fact that like they, it seems like they've taken their time with the production of it, so like, so it's not being like rushed out the door.
There's been time to reevaluate Bleach's merit as well.
Yep. I kind of wish, part of me kind of hopes that they do a sequel, a continuation of the live action, because honestly, I didn't think the live action movie was that bad.
Oh yeah, the live action Bleach movie, yeah, I kind of wish they did too, but like, I wonder why I wonder if it's because the movie didn't make that much money to justify a sequel.
Or just the pandemic scrapped any plans they might have had.
Which would sadly make sense.
And just maybe Shota Fukushi being occupied by other stuff, because they got a good actor for him, but he's definitely in that range where he can't really play high schooler characters for much longer.
Yeah, you can't Jenna Maroney it.
Yeah. 30 Rock, but it's for Warhammer.
Oh god, Liz's life would be absolute hell. Even more so.
And somehow picturing Jack Donaghy as an orc.
Alec Baldwin orc.
Well, that would jar with a lot of people's opinions of him on set. Yeah, I don't know much about him other than rumors, so I don't want to.
DJ Toku, also one where Shinji is a Geki Ranger of all things, and yes, he fuses Abe with his beast spirit. I saw that, I never actually read that. I think you guys remember you guys doing a vlog from Bleach film. We did.
Yep.
Yeah. Ooh.
That was way, way back.
Way back in the day.
Like, when we actually had time for stuff like that, and could put up together the time for it. Like, we stopped doing it because, like, we would end up discussing so much of what we were watching before we actually got on film that it kind of just ended up feeling pointless.
Yeah. Damn it! I should have remembered the rage. What time is it, by the way? I'm sorry.
We are an hour and 35.
Okay, so 25 minutes left. Hopefully I can get to a good spot to save. Just... like, at the least get past this part.
Yeah, I think, yeah, at least past this part.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, I can't really see myself getting into Warhammer, not, like, because I don't think there's, like, value in it or anything, it's just...
It's
like,
a not for us kind of situation.
It's a vibe thing, you know what I mean?
I get that, and I fully get that.
But that doesn't mean I can't respect, like, it, you know what I mean?
We can respect the time it's taken creatives to develop this setting and show that this is a bad place to be.
And also, like, just the, like, you know, the stories of Commander York, where I'm like, okay, that's actually a legitimately good tale right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you showed me that one animated short where an orc was telling, like, some other orcs about, like, this guy,
about
right?
About Yerrick, yeah.
Yeah. DJ Toku, the Bleach film will always blow my mind for just who they got for Ichigo, Uyu, and Orihime. That just had to be deliberate, right? I hope so. We gotta have back a bunch of cast from Kamera Force for it. Terror of Death. So does question what exactly happens in Eva and Anima? A lot is the best way to phrase it simply. Basically, time skip to several years later, world doesn't end, other angels keep appearing, Shinji and Asuka are dating. Yes, seriously, it's actually a positive, beneficial relationship. And then things start getting weird because, well, the new enemy is kind of broken. So, let me be honest, the novels are not translated well. They kind of got a bit machine translated in how they're phrased, so they are at points difficult to follow, but basically this is where the weird experimental stuff starts happening with a bunch of, like I said in the Super Wars reviews, a bunch of Rey's clones are active at the same time. Mari Makinami shows up as a cat girl piloting a overtly dog-themed Evangelion. Shinji has his heart torn out, so it has to be artificially connected to Evangelion Unit 1 to supply him the power to live. Asuka ends up undergoing full fusion with her Eva, so she actually is the Eva, and yes, Giant Woman applies. And the main enemy of it, Amoros the Lesser, ends up draining the mass of the Earth into the moon to continue the whole alien instrumentality stuff that was actually the main plot of Evangelion. Like, all the angels are actually various terraformer creations to create a new dominant species, whereas humans that originate from Lilith are from a different terraforming device, and the two terraforming devices were not supposed to occupy the same planet. So the ending of the series is half of Earth's mass is sent to the moon. Mari becomes a life capsule that goes up to that moon and basically makes it so that all the instrumentality crap gets done on that moon, and humanity then lives on the reduced mass Earth. It's weird, but it's a more positive ending because, you know, it's not the full turn everyone to Tang and there are only 2 people left alive thing.
Also, if I'm gonna die, I don't want to be turned into like an orange drink.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. If Terry's gonna go out saving the president, or Terry's never gonna die!
And I was serious when I said in the Super Robot Wars reviews that several people at the same time independently came up with the Evangelion turn people into Tang thing across the internet. It was not one sole person, but I was among them.
Pure Crystal, someone explain to me what's with Japanese media and blowing up the moon. I don't get it.
I guess they're trying to kill Princess Kaguya before that stupid ending from Naruto, twist ending from Naruto can happen.
That or they want to take care of that rabbit in the moon before he makes all the mochi.
It's like, seriously, okay, it's Shinjuku, the moon. Am I missing anything else that keeps getting destroyed a whole lot in Japanese media?
There's the ones that demolish Mount Fuji. I mean, Fuji is a gigantic mountain/volcano. It's an easy target. Yeah, I know there's at least one other one, but I'm blanking on it. DJ Toku, did they talk about how gravity would be wonky after that with loss of mass? Probably. I don't remember off the top of my head.
I'm just imagining because Actually, no, I'm not imagining anything. I don't know where I was going with this.
All I want to know is that cat girls piloting mechs is a good thing.
And piloting dog mechs, which is a paradox.
Dogs and cats piloting together.
Mass hysteria.
Out of fuel.
Yeah.
So you got the hammer.
Yay!
And then obviously like a guy on a crane comes by and steals your hammer, and it's like, sorry, not yours anymore.
Oh, but it's mine!
No, it's not, soldier. Get back to work.
This is Primus Command. Orcs inside the perimeter. Move to secondary defense positions and hold the line.
Pure Crystal. The first fight scene in Symphogear AXZ is stupid. Stupidly awesome! It is.
It, like, that's the thing I love about Simple Gear is that it doesn't, like, it just thinks of the most coolest scenarios you could imagine these characters doing, and just does it, and doesn't bother stopping to ask the question of, like, if there was a better way of doing it. You know what I mean?
I think it's the best way to introduce the series outside of just showing them the first episode, because it tells you everything you need to know about the series in just that one sequence.
No, definitely.
Part 3, The Weapon.
John, the real weapon was your heart. It was inside of you all along. Then I rip out your heart and then it's actually a time bomb and it's like, ah! See, all of our hearts are weapons.
Pilot, this is left.
Mine's a nuclear reactor.
Look sharp. All cries inbound.
Captain Titus, I need a gunner to man the heavy bolter. Here they come, starboard side.
Ah, yes. Yep, orc jetpacks are literally rockets strapped to their backs. It is so funny.
I mean, that's how original jetpacks were, so... You've never seen the Rocketeer?
Yes, I've seen The Rocketeer, and it is great.
Thank you. I still can't believe there are people who don't like that movie.
I've never seen that movie.
We should watch it.
I need to find a copy of it. I actually enjoy it.
I think it's on Disney Plus. We can watch it there.
Good.
Timothy Dalton.
Early Timothy Dalton with that.
I think post James Bond, but yeah.
Well, that's still relatively early for him.
True.
And 6. Keep us in position, pilot.
Media Hood reviews. Alexis, if your heart is a nuclear reactor, wouldn't that make you Godzilla?
Maybe.
Could also make you Gamera.
Why would I want to be that turtle, man? I want to be. If I'm going to be anything, I'm going to be Godzilla. No, make me Mecha Godzilla. That way I get the cool Sub-Zero cannon.
Die, get off of my ship! My plane, you jerks! Get out of my airspace!
No! Okay, you're making a compelling argument. Does your health regenerate if you avoid damage for a while?
I don't know. Oh, dang it. Okay. Oh, never mind that. Oh, bollocks! Well, at least I'm here. Ish.
He died as he lived.
Standing.
Crashing.
Well, I made it.
Honestly, if I pulled out my heart and it was a nuclear reactor, that actually just makes me get a robo. Take this, you dinosaur jerks!
Oh, I don't have the thunder hammer anymore!
Oh, come on! They took away your hammer! Oh,
I want the hammer back! Get it back to me!
This is a betrayal! They betrayed you!
This is the worst kind of discrimination! The kind against me!
How dare they take away the thunder hammer?
It was awesome!
We had so many memories with it, and then we have like a weird flashback to all the times we had the thunder hammer that never happened.
It's like running in a field.
Think about all the times that we shared together.
Think about the time.
We now return to Mark Strong going on a rampage. And not Warhammer.
Only in death does duty end.
I always love that line. The worst kind of discrimination, the kind against me. Oh, that's funny.
Come in, Lieutenant. Valkyrie 2 is down. I require immediate transport.
Care of Death, though Death's question, will we be seeing that review you released last Saturday on Patreon for general release on YouTube this Saturday? Again, no, because of the copyright strikes. I put it up on Patreon via my general browsing YouTube page, but I can't risk getting any more strikes for the time being, so it is not releasing until the first of my strikes is up in October. I just didn't want to have it wait on my hard drive for 6 weeks because of that problem. So if anyone wants to see it, it's currently on Patreon for $1. Otherwise, you can just wait until that strike is up, and I will endeavor to have it up first thing in the morning on October 16th. It annoys the hell out of me that I have to wait that long for that, because it's a 2 hour 17-minute video. It's like there's a lot in that. And I already had to future-proof it because of those kinds of delays.
Damn it!
They're crippled in body, then corrupt in mind.
Honestly, I think here's a good place to stop, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's almost 2 hours.
Yeah, and also you did start a new chapter, so it's usually like a good stopping point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Plus, we don't want to keep the audience subjecting you to dying over and over again.
Unless you wanted to unless you wanted to take all the points of me dying replace it with yakety sax.
Na 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 na.
Yeah, but anyway, we'll stop here, and thank you very much, folks, for tuning in. It's been fun to play this again, and playing it to the end. Not sure what I'll be doing next, though.
Yeah.
How far are you into the game? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think it might have a three act structure, but I'm not sure.
Yes. In the meantime, at least for me working on stuff while we stream, I just completed Gaudile's legs. I still have to figure out how to redesign the jaw, but I'm getting there. It's like most of this is just a red repaint for when this eventually goes to being Gao Devil. But yeah, thank you everybody for stopping by. Again, Alexis is this week next, I believe. Yeah, so going to complete Mario.
Well, here's the thing: we can't complete Mario because there's still 3 chapters, and we were about to do chapter 6, and so after chapter 6, it's 7 and then 8.
Okay, yeah. I think when we started this, you told me it was 5 chapters, so I might have taken.
I didn't say that.
Okay, something told me 5 chapters. I don't remember what that was then. But yeah, we'll probably get back to working on Thousand Year Door next week.
Yeah, because when we last left off in Thousand Year Door, we were actually about to begin chapter 6, which is a mystery train story. And then, we'll see how far we can get from there.
And then the week after that, Alexis and I might be getting either Aquarian or Mike Gein in, depending on the SMPs, I should clarify. Depending on what their release week is. So we might do a build week stream for that week before I decide what I want to do for my stream week, because I gotta find something else to do. But yes, thank you guys for stopping by as usual, and we will see you when we see you.